Okay, so yesterday we did Totally Twisted. That's one of the exercises from the 28-day life reset from Human Garage. I think it used to be called the 28-day stress reset, but maybe they've renamed it. So the 28-day life reset. Something I did back in September. We're going to do Totally Twisted again today, but we're going to just tweak it a little bit, and we're going to tweak it based on something that you learn a little bit further on in the 28-day life reset. So first things first, right foot over left, right hand under, right hand over, body to the right, head to the left, and then 3-stage breath that we talked about yesterday, like this. And again. And again. And each time I'm doing those breaths, I'm just turning a little bit further. Now just 3 normal breaths. We'll do it through the nose today. Now normally I'd go straight to the other side by doing this and turning, but I'm going to stay here for a second and explain a couple of things. What I've noticed in this position, for me, might be different for you, is that sometimes I find my shoulders start coming up. So I try and feel, even though I'm wrapping around here, try to make sure that the shoulders are somewhat relaxed, just so they sit, they're not pulled up to my ears. That's the first thing. And the other thing I've noticed is when I think about where my weight is in my feet, sometimes I find I'm more on my left foot, whereas if I move the weight around and go more onto my right foot, then the experience does change a little bit. And when I say the experience changes from the point of view of when I breathe, of where that air goes. Because one of the concepts here is that as I wrap around and kind of, if you like, block this area here and breathe in, then the air can go into will feel like it's going into different areas. We touched on that yesterday. And the other thing I like to do as well is I like to just feel a push through the feet so that I can feel my head feels like it's getting taller and taller, so that as I'm twisting, I'm also, there's an intention to kind of elongate as well. Okay, so that's that. So move around on the feet and just notice where your weight is and notice if the experience changes when you move your weight to different areas. Okay, so let's go to the other side. So head to the right, body to the left, and then after this we'll do the modification. So then 3-stage breath. And again. And again. And then 3 normal breaths. We'll do these through the mouth. Again, a different experience than doing it through the nose. Now sometimes, talking about modifications, I've noticed that in this position, if I start to look up to the sky, I can feel some pressure around my hip, so I like to breathe into that area. And explore that. But the one inside the 28-day life reset is where they hinge at the hips. And then from here we'll do 6 normal breaths. We've still got body rotating around this way, head going that way. And then you can bend the knees, which is a little tricky. Especially keeping the weight even on both feet. And then come up. So that's a variation you can do on totally twisted. So that's one side. And the fold at the hips, I really like it because it works into something that I'll tell you about in a future video that I'm working on in like exercise 3 or 4 of the 28-day life reset program. So if you haven't looked at the Human Garage 28-day life reset program, do so. I wish I had an affiliate link or something like that, but it's such a great program. Just go for it. So have a little move around, experience what that's like. Now you've just done one side, the other side, a fold and twist. And then we'll go into the other side. So right foot over, left over right, left foot under, right over, body to the left, head to the right. Keep those shoulders down, not forced down, but just not up, up by your ears. Because remember, up tight, that's what we don't want. Nobody wants to be up tight doing Human Garage. Okay, and 3-stage breath. And then 3 breaths through the nose. Let's make it 6 actually. Okay, explore that where the weight is in the feet, what that does to the pelvis. Definitely does unusual things for me. And then head to the left, body to the right, and 3-stage breath. And again. And again. Now we'll just try 6 breaths through the mouth. And what I was doing then, you might have even seen it in the movement if you go back and replay, is just noticing where the breath goes to. At first it was up high, it was high in the chest. And then as I recognised that, send it lower down into the areas where I can feel more restriction in the lower ribs. So then from there, hinge at the hips, keep the head going that way, rotation that way. We can do 6 breaths. Then maybe a 3-stage breath. And then bent knees, keeping your balance. I could really feel that then, right where the ribs touch the spine. So that again is a slightly modified version of totally twisted. And remember the reason why we said we're doing this. We were talking about the bioregulators. We were talking about how the Cavington inspired bioregulators can increase telomere length. What a telomere is, the little end caps of your DNA. And as you age, they can start to get smaller and smaller, but these can actually increase the length. And thus, from a biological age point of view, could reduce your biological age, even though your chronological age is always going up. And one of the stories I remember Bill Lawrence was saying about gymnasts, late teens, early 20s, loads and loads of stress, probably emotional stress from, these were Olympic athletes, emotional stress from training for the Olympics, physical stress from training for the Olympics, and if you've ever watched any TV of gymnasts and their training regime, it's brutal. Their telomeres were giving them a biological age way in excess, up as high as like 40 years old. Now, obviously, being of that age, once they got onto the bioregulators, they were able to reduce that down quite rapidly. A bit like me, there's a 50-year-old. Some people say I look younger than my years. I would say, and this is something we'll talk about in future videos, because I utilise a lot of tonic herbs, there is a theory that, but hasn't been tested yet, that some of these peptides, the same peptides that you get in the bioregulators, which are derived from young, healthy organs of bovine or ovine, pig or cow. And this is music to this is great news for those who are vegan, is some of those peptides which act as adaptogens, meaning they can move their biology in one way or the other, do have a similar effect to how some of the adaptogens in the tonic herbal system, such as astragalus and reishi, rhodiola, hoshu wu, they're sort of, they're bidirectional in their ability to drive a person's nervous system. So, with that being the case, for those of us who've been using tonic herbs for many years, somewhere in the next 5-10 years, it may be shown that some of these peptides are actually, are in some of those plants, such as gynostemma, which is known as magical grass, longevity grass, if you like, and used a lot in teas out in East, with the Taoists. So, with that being the case, where was I going with that? I was saying that if you're consuming these types of things to increase telomere length, the one thing they've shown to hinder that is excess stress. Now, I look at it like this: if you've got a spectrum, on one end of the spectrum, if you've got stress, the other end of the spectrum, you've got feeling as good as you can, as much as you can. And doing human garage helps us move in that direction, to feeling as good as you can, as much as you can. So again, that's just one exercise today, totally twisted with a few modifications, also getting you to be aware of your foot pressures and where you are there, getting you to keep your shoulders down, elongate through the spine whilst you twist, whilst you breathe, and there's all sorts of amazing effects that can come from this. So look that up, Human Garage. And I did say yesterday that I was going to show you what was in this in this box, again, because if you're not aware of this, the totally twisted manoeuvre from Human Garage is called a fascial. They term them fascial manoeuvres, all looking to target the fascia and free the fascia up, reduce tension, reduce stress, so that you've got a more joyous experience of life. What's in this box is also targeted towards the fascia. I won't tell you about it today. I may tell you about it maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, then we've got Sunday. I might do it on Monday, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. Keep practicing your totally twisted and implement it into your day-to-day routine. And I think you'll find once you've done it, you think, well, I feel good. So I'm going to continue my routine now. And in future videos, we'll do more exercises combined together. Enjoy.